This is Damon Stevens with Finwell Fillers. Today is Thursday, October 13th, 2022, in this stock market update for trades of the day. Hopefully you guys loved the rock and roll that we had today. Boy, we had a rocket down and a rocket back up. So hopefully you caught at least one side of that, if not both sides. If you did, you had a really good day. We're going to take a look at that and see what that means for them, maybe going into tomorrow or maybe even next week. Usually if you have to have a rocket ride, you have to know that the rocket's going to come down and settle a little bit. So let's take a look at it. Let's get into the charts and see what's going on in the market and see what we can do to plan out the rest of this week as we close into Friday and into the weekend. So looking at the overall market, you see Dow Jones closed up 2.83%, NASDAQ up 2.23%, and the S&P 500 down or up 2.60%. And you see this heat map. Amazon didn't do so well, but everything else really climbed, and it was really interesting because we really started down, in the pre-market. The news came out from the Feds and interest rates, and boy, things just dropped right down to new lows, and then boom, rocket ride up all morning, and then flattened in the afternoon. And I'll show you a chart here, and that's why I'm telling you, be prepared for tomorrow or the early next week, because we could see a little bit of retracement possibly there. But looking at the overall scanners, I mean, even with all the running we had here, really didn't have anything hit the scanners. Everything was focused on, like we talked about earlier this week, tech gets hit hard first and usually is the next to rally. The question comes down to, are we accumulating right now? Are we getting the hedge funds getting in there to take long-term positions on this new bottom, or was this a whole basically short covering that happened that caused a big pump on the day as people were covering their shorts, and that created this big old huge volume and this rally that happened today? So if it is, it's temporary. But let's get into it, take a look at what's going on, see what we can possibly expect here as we go into closing out the rest of this week. So here you go. This is the E-mini futures. This is live you can basically trade this 6 days a week, 24/7, 24/6. And you see here this nice drop off. Last night we had this nice drop off here this morning, down to 630 on the open, and then boom, automatically reverse directions, and then it was just a ride all the way up here to where we're flat. And I'll show you a better chart than this. This chart just is to give you a good overview, kind of really what the overall action was today. And again, the thing we're keeping an eye on, we talked about this for a few weeks now, is this is a 2007, 2008 crisis. And so you can see with this big run up, pull down, little consolidation, a pump, and this nice little funny candle there. I'll show you in a minute what I'm looking at here, but basically this long tail candle, and then boom, a drop to new low, and then new lows, and then new lows, and we just dropped out. So looking at what chart was similar to that, it's right now. So you see this big run up, a pull back to the line here, and then a pump up, and then a drop, and then it started to drop down today, and then nice little rally. And if you look at this candle here, this is the candle that we left. This is the month so far as we're closing into October, half of the month. And then here is a candle in 2008. And I was looking at that candle. I'm like, okay, those are almost identical candles. So hopefully, don't know, but hopefully we don't see this next candle right here next month, where we have this huge drop down in new lows. And it's possible, right? It's possible to rally up here. You can see the candle went up here to the top, and then it just dropped down, and then we started going to new lows. So that's just a possibility. Not saying that's what's going to happen, but you always look at kind of the past to get an idea of what possibly could happen in the future. So at least you're prepared to look for both ways, either the upside or the downside. So this is just something I'm keeping an eye on. Just want to see, does patterns hold, and can we confirm them, or basically say that they're wrong. But again, the Feds are hard. I mean, that's why we had this drop on the morning, is the Feds are saying, hey, we're going to stick to it. We are sticking to our guns. We are going to continue jacking up rates and maybe even higher if it's required to get this economy in line. And you see here from the institutions, they're all looking for the short side. There is more people shorting this market and more institutions shorting this market than ever before, at least until 2000. This was the lows back in 2001, 2017, and look at this now. We're like way down here. So obviously people, hedge funds and institutions are betting against the market continuing to go down. If you look at elections years, we're almost so just keep it in mind, we're almost mid-October. Typically in October, we get this nice little rally up until mid-October, and then a drop off into November. So, and then you got a nice little rally at the end of the year. But I'm not saying that's going to happen, but this is the averages since 1946. This is typically what you see. So is that what we're going to get? Hard to say, but again, you need to be prepared for both sides. Either we just put a new low in, and maybe that's the low if we can start making higher lows and higher highs. But if we don't, we could be coming down here and making some more lows, just like that 2007, 2008 chart. So what do we have coming into tomorrow? So we had core CPI today, which was what caused the market to drop initially and then to rally. We have retail sales tomorrow and inventories. And so not a lot. I mean, today was the big hitter. We talked about that, even on Sunday, we talked about that Sunday night that, this Thursday is going to be the big hitter. And sure enough, it was. But as we look into, what's going to happen next week, we'll look at to see, what, possibly could affect us right now. Thursday, again, seems to be our hot day of the week. So just something to be prepared for. But we'll cover this in more detail next week. I just want to give you an overview of what's going on. So I don't expect a lot of news tomorrow. So, I mean, there's the inflation, 5-year inflation expectation we'll hear about tomorrow morning. Other than that, that's kind of, where we're at. And if you haven't subscribed, definitely subscribe to our channel. That way we can continue bringing these videos and share them with your family and friends, those who you think will benefit from this, especially if they're new traders. And this is on our YouTube, FinWealth Live on YouTube. And if you want to join us further, you can get onto our free chat and daily watch list on a Discord server. So if you click on this link, it'll take you in there and you can get registered, and then you can get what we're trading each day with the numbers of when we're getting in, when we're getting out. We post that pre-market. So definitely join us there. And if you really want to become a member and really, join our community, then this is the dashboard you get, which will give you access to live trading, trading courses, our masterclass, and several different techniques. If you're looking for some new way of trading, or maybe you're new to trading and you don't quite know kind of what type of trader you want to be, great courses to help you to discover that. Group training and also one-on-ones. Let's get into some charts here. So Oxy. We had that nice bull run. We had a pullback and a nice run back up here today towards those highs. Now it's tagged this resistance area at 68.54. So we'll see if we can break through that. You can see here it was resistance back here in June, and expected it to be resistance if we came back up here. I didn't know if we were going to drop down here first, but it looks like we got that nice little rally today, about 50%. So this was a 50% retracement now. Back up a little bit over 50%. So now the question is, do we drop back down again? So this is the ebb and flow of the market. So we'll see what Oxy does. If it can break this 68.54 level, then we're obviously running higher. 64 below will be a short. For solar, talked about this one. This one just about came off. We talked about this. If it dropped below this resistance area, it's coming off. It's right kind of, it dropped below the 50-day moving average. Didn't quite come down to this line down here at 119, but close. But it's kind of sandwiched in here. This is kind of last breakout area. We almost came down and tested that area. We did not, though, get quite there and bounce right up, back up to this breakout area, which is right here. So we'll see if this can get its momentum to go back up. If so, we're back in this channel we've been in for a few weeks. If not, and we create a channel here, then obviously we're going to be consolidating here, and that will create a nice tight channel to have to wait for momentum either to the upside or the downside. So look at Netflix here on a daily chart. We talked about this, we just kind of grinded up here, which, I said was perfect, as long as we get back over that 100 and the 50, to keep above the 50 day and get above the 100, which we never did. We started to break down, came down here. It looks like it tagged right below, which is this range we talked about before, and then closed clear up here at the top. So right back into, actually we broke above this range down here and into this new range. So if we can hold this for a couple days, maybe we become range bound here until we make a new breakout. Tesla on a daily chart. Tesla came down. We had this little channel down here with this 208, 206 area. We talked about that hitting the new lows. It did come down there and tagged it and then just ran right back up. And it's right here, barely above our support line, which is this little, grouping channel in here. Really need to get above this 233 level. If not, we could possibly break down and retest this 208 level before bouncing back up again. Apple came down here. I thought maybe we're going to hit new lows. We didn't yet. We did come down to right here, this little breakup. This is where we pulled back and made the run. And that's exactly where we're at right now. We hit that same level and we ran up. So do we stop right here, right? This resistance level, this is kind of where it broke out to the upside. Do we continue up or do we, pull back here and retest this area maybe, kind of see where you can see this run came up here, came back down about halfway up, came back down, and then ran up here. So we'll see. But something to keep in mind of. So, our support, our resistance areas is at 143. Support areas at 134. So that's a pretty broad range off that candle. It's huge. It's a huge engulfing candle. NVIDIA, another huge engulfing candle. So we came down, hit a new low on NVIDIA. Didn't quite come down to this band down here at 100, but pretty close before we kind of ran up here. So we'll see if we can hold this. We really need to break above this area right here, this 120 area, to keep running up. Otherwise, we could become range bound possibly down here, but NVIDIA's been kind of on this downward streak, and so maybe with this huge engulfing candle, we may be able to get some chop out of here and maybe some range bound moves here. We got Microsoft, nice big juicy candle as well. See where we pulled down here to a new low, rallied up here, past these candles, engulfed them all. So we'll see what that does as far as if we can keep that momentum going or do we come range bound. So looking for a breakout above, this 234 area or breakdown below 219. Looking at U.S. bonds, 10-year yields, kind of creating this little bull flag here right on the top by the highs. So we break out above 4.02, then look for a rally up here back towards the highs. If we consolidate down here, we may at some point may drop back through here, maybe retest some areas, maybe around 3.6. So just kind of looking for price action there to show us which way it wants to go. 2-year yield had new highs today. I mean, we broke out here, we kind of chopped here a little bit. This momentum, new highs. And typically, if this is going up and money's going to bonds, you're going to see the market come back down. So that's why I'm kind of curious if we're going to retrace a little bit of the move today, even if it's temporary. Same with the dollar. Well, the dollar kind of pulled back here. So the dollar kind of was rallying up towards those highs again and pulled back here. And it's not quite at the support level here. So it did have a little bit of resistance there. We'll see if we can break this up and go back towards the high side so we can keep an eye on the dollar. But right now, dollar elevated, gold and stocks come down, dollar down, usually stocks and gold go up. And so here's your gold, and huge mixed candle here. So it came clear down here, back down, tagged this 1643, which is a lot. It's a huge jump from where we were. And then we also tagged up here at our support line at 1680. So, and then we're kind of like right in the middle, kind of where we were with the rest of the candle. So not good direction on gold right now. Kind of looks like more of a bear flag at this point. So we'll see what happens. So, looking for, a breakout above 1680 or breakdown below 1640. VIX tagged up here again towards that 34, so high, but a huge pullback here. So finally, instead of these indecision candles, the potential reversal candles, we did get that reversal and that came down. So we'll see if we can come back down, tag this 20 around $30. A SPY on a daily chart. So this is where you can see this big, huge bar. So we came down, tagged this level here and ran up. So hopefully we can not keep going down this wedge. You see this wedge here? I'd like to see this not chop down here, but actually be able to break out. So we'll see if we can break out, but more likely we could possibly come back and retrace about 50%, which would put us around 357. So that would make sense. Maybe in the lowest 353, between that little range right there, before we bounce again. I put SPY on a 5-minute. The reason I put SPY on a 5-minute here is just so you can see with this run up, here's kind of like the first hump. That's the second. This is a third. And typically, if you get these three, this is what's called a triple crown or 3 crowns. Usually, you'll get some type of reversal off of that. Not always. So it could run up, but typically you get a reversal. So we'll see it in the morning. If we get a reversal a little bit on that SPY and see if it pulls back down here, retraces before trying to run higher. On a weekly basis, sitting here, we almost came down. I thought for sure we were going to come down here and stay, but we didn't. We tagged down here, but closed up, above here in this candle. So this candle is engulfing both of these. So we'll see if this becomes a range for us or whether we can continue breaking out to that upside. And triple Qs. Let me move this up just a little bit so you can see. The triple Qs came almost down, right down to, this is where our deviation band is right here. So it almost came down that far, but not quite. So, it could possibly pop down here a little bit at some point down the road. But for right now, we're rallying back up here and, putting in, some additional highs here. So, is this a double bounce here? Is this a double bottom and then we bounce from here? Hard to say until we get a couple days in here. Triple Qs on a weekly chart. Yeah, it's like where this breakout happened right here. So right in that range. IWM, this Russell 2000. So it came down here, tagged towards this low here, and then a rally clear back up to the 20. So huge run from IWM. All right, let's take a look at XLF. So this is a financial index fund, and you can see that it pulled down as well. Down, here's where it had hit its low here at 3012, kind of 3021. We talked about this hitting this area again. Obviously, it did hit down in this range down here right close to these lows. Didn't quite hit this 3012, then bounced off and came back about halfway up this candle here. So, where do we go from here? It's hard to say, but we didn't quite hit the bottom. It did bounce before that bottom. So it was not quite ready to put one in there. So we'll kind of monitor this one and see, but it very well could chase all the way back up to the top of this candle around 31.15. Or if there's profit taking, we may come back down here and trace this. But right now I didn't see the momentum I did in other stocks for the XLF to pull back. So we'll see what happens. Something to watch for. Bitcoin had a nice little drop here down towards this 18. We talked about this, over a week ago that, once you start breaking support here, we're more likely going to come back and test this 18 area, maybe 17 even if this breaks. Looks like it held. We bounced back up to 19s, over 19. So we'll see if that holds, see if maybe we can get a breakout towards the upside. But right now, Bitcoin's still looking very weak. Ethereum, same thing, nice little drop down here to a support level here. But not quite down to 1,000. We talked about this, possibly hitting 1,000 if it breaks 1,200. So luckily it bounced back up here, finding support here at 1,270. But again, we were either looking for a break to the upside or a break to the downside. So far, it's still showing that weakness, still down here lower. Really need this to get going here and break up here. Otherwise, very well could be coming back down to those 1,000 or the 900 levels. So that's our stocks, our cryptos, what we're watching in the market today. Tomorrow, watch for a possible fake out and a pullback here. Maybe we retrace part of the move today. That would be, normal for that to happen. And then see how we close out Friday. Either Friday is going to be an afternoon grinder like today was, or, we could possibly just reverse and kind of end up flat. So we'll see, but definitely join our Discord. I'd love to have you join us in the morning and join our membership services as well and take advantage of everything we have to offer. Everybody have a great night and a great weekend coming up here. We'll talk Sunday night, go over the trades for the week, and get you all prepped and ready to make some money this week. Everybody have a great night and a great weekend.